Sometimes objects aren't just things. Objects can hold meaning, stories, and memories, and it can feel so strong that it's almost rewarding to showcase them in a bookshelf or hide them in the bottom drawer. And the sketchbook isn't just a book. It can be almost a journal, filled with pages that remind you of where you are and how you feel. But sometimes, even the closed book by itself can mean so much without opening the first page. And today, I want to share with you the object that has done that for me, which is this sketchbook right here. You've probably seen it before in my reels, the artwork that I share online, even my past videos, I think. I also show it. It's the only sketchbook I own that has this little sticker on it, which is really meaningful to me as well for other reasons, but usually I like to script my videos and make them feel a little bit more structured. But today I actually wanted to just talk to you a little bit and show you this sketchbook, show you what it means to me and why it's so important. You know, us artists are usually really proud of sketchbook the faster we can get it done and finished. But ironically, this one is the one that has taken me the longest to complete. And that's because of something that I actually mentioned to you before, which is a while back I stopped drawing for around 2 years, and it was a very difficult moment in my life. And throughout that time, this was the sketchbook that I had. So just like with any other sketchbook, you know that feeling when you sort of remind where you were when you were drawing something, or you draw something in front of you that you don't have anymore. Those sorts of feelings, that's the thing that I hold dearest in my heart to all of my sketchbooks, is that I can see myself in them and remember the person I was when I had them and when I was drawing in them. And this one does the same, but in a crazy way, because at the time I was really scared, and I remember that very, very vividly. And so this sketchbook, I had started it just when I finished college, which is when that sort of happened. And I remember starting it, and I remember pausing it for a really long time and just drawing on it like once every 3 months, something like that, and being really scared and anxious. I remember that like really vividly. But at the same time, I was holding on to it so tightly, like I really wanted to keep going, but I just couldn't, that I had it with me everywhere. And I always had it at my desk or in my bag when I went out. And so at the time, every time I saw it or held it, it just sort of reminded me of the things that I wasn't being able to accomplish, or the things I wasn't being able to do. And that made me really, really sad. I remember looking at it and it just made me really sad every time. And I think that kind of made it even harder for me to keep going. I remember I almost thought maybe I should just start a new one or something like that, because this is too much. But I actually started drawing on it again, and I remember getting excited again and posting again and finding my voice again as well, which is really cool. And so now, instead of this book holding so much fear and sadness, it's almost bittersweet. And it's now a message for me that I could have stopped. Like I could just not be here talking to you right now, but I am. And it makes me really proud. It doesn't mean that the sketchbook has the nicest drawings or illustrations or the work that I'm the most proud of when it comes to skills or like showing off my work, but it makes me the most proud because it shows me how much I've grown and how much I fought. And that's something that no one can take away from me. And so I've already stored all of my sketchbooks and started a new one, which is right here. You've seen it before probably as well. I'm already about a third way in. This one is going by really fast, but still I can't seem to put this one down. I need to have it with me. I need to see it in my day-to-day life because it just reminds me of that, you know? And I've also had some wonderful people ask me if I could make a sketchbook tour, so I think it all fits pretty well. But today I'll just share with you the drawings I was making when I wasn't feeling my best, the places I was living. I remember all of it, and it's all in here. So let's get started. Okay, so let's get started with this sketchbook. I remember, I think I have the dates still on. I don't usually add them, but I thought it was cool. the first page, we still have the 2020 date. And by the last page, which I did not too long ago, it's 2023. So officially about 3 years to complete one sketchbook. They're usually all the same size, about like 80 pages. So it's interesting to see how long it took me to finish. At this time, you might recognize her. She's from the TV show The Queen's Gambit. I remember I was just watching it at the time with my boyfriend. And I remember loving the character so much I had to sketch her. And at this point, I was sort of phasing out art in my life. So I was holding on for dear life and trying to do things that inspired me. Also with the materials that I always have loved to use, and I do still, which are like graphite and colored pencils. Even these sketches, I remember doing these. These are from reference. I remember I really loved how these turned out. I thought they looked really nice. And here at some point, even with these colored pencils, like it's okay to try things that don't work all the time, because that's what's going to happen, of course. But I remember whenever I found sort of a barrier like that would push me, I'd get more frustrated and give up. So even these sketches, they don't feel as confident as I sketch right now. I was just really trying my best. This is my boyfriend. I was drawing him. We were in the couch. There's some laundry in the back. And this is also part of how I managed to grow and to keep going. These are the classics, just sketching bodies. It's my go-to. I love it. I was trying out some inks. You can tell like these didn't work out at all. This one's kind of cute. But I remember that, but you know, drawing with inks is really scary and you can't go back with your decisions, and it's a good exercise. And I've always used it as an exercise, and I really wanted to draw different things that I wasn't used to and using those methods, and I think it works out pretty well. Some of these are cute. I love these with colored pencils. I started falling in love with like the saturated colored pencils, the vibrant colors. Always with the faces. And at this point, you can tell that like I'm not feeling the page. I start doodling something with ink and then I drop it. I remember this day as well. I remember I was waiting at the train station. This started to be like the mentality of, well, nothing I'm gonna do is going to be great either way, so I might as well just draw things that I find interesting and I want to emulate. And to a certain degree, that's a good thing, but I don't think I was using that in a healthy way back then. It was very negative. This, my boyfriend again, and him again. You know, when you grow up in sort of an environment that doesn't really take what you like to do seriously, which that's fine, like nothing, that's okay. But I remember growing up where I was always drawing, but nobody really cared. And so having someone now that finds what I do fun and interesting and pulls me up is really important. I remember drawing this in front of him and asking him not to look at me because I was shy and I didn't want him to see me draw. And now it's cool because it's fine, you know? I actually married the guy this year, so I am very comfortable drawing around him now, and it's really cool. And having someone who believes in you and sort of gets you giddy and excited about the things that you can do is really like half of the work. It truly helped me. I remembered this part here. I hadn't drawn in a long time and I wanted to join a contest for some children's book illustrations, and it was really exciting to start trying again and drawing some characters, even in a new style. But I didn't win anything. I did join, but I didn't win anything. These pages feel kind of crazy, but I kind of appreciate that to a certain extent. If you are having fun and doing things that you enjoy, it doesn't matter if it's too pretty, it makes sense to mess around a lot. Even here with colored pencils, I love these colors together, so there's nothing wrong with just doodling around, having fun. I like it a lot. These, I think I was sketching for an idea that I wanted to do in ink, but I never actually made it. And I don't know if this happens to you, but Usually when I draw, I kind of, without me even wanting to, I sort of regurgitate my feelings into the page. And so we have a lot of sad people in these pages. It's cool to see that a while ago I was really into drawing big smiles. And that's really cool to see the contrast between one and the other. This was a study for an illustration that I actually posted a really long time ago, I think. So when I started posting online again, and I was really nervous, and I just came back out of nowhere, and it felt really strange to come back. I felt like people just forgot about me, nobody cares, but I care, so I'm going to keep going and see what happens. I love these studies as well. I think that at this point, I was already posting again on social media. So you see, all of this was done in about 2 years. I think this was Jennifer Aniston. She studies, I like it. Another few messy pages. I actually think I drew this one in ink. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, I actually found it. So this has been hidden in a drawer because there are a lot of errors in this drawing. So bear with me, but I was trying to ink something more finished and I never share this with anyone. But I also got some gold paint and I wanted to try it. I thought it was really cool. It didn't give me the effect that I wanted, but I remember this sketch was for this piece right here. This one here is also really special. This was one of the first drawings that I drew on the couch next to my boyfriend. I remember him saying how cute it was looking, how the details were so interesting, and giving me actual nice feedback and just encouraging me to keep going. It's a really specific memory, and I never shared this drawing either. Not just for that reason, but just because it felt like, it's personal, it's here, and it's history, but I don't mind sharing it, but it feels very personal, It's one of those pieces that I would never sell this, I would never post this on a reel or something like that. It's very much, the moment was too special for me to take the time to film it or edit it or anything like that. It stands by itself. Another messy and empty page, some inks and stuff. I remember this as well. It was the first time that I went out with some friends and I was drawing in public, which I don't like. I get really shy and I hate when people look at my sketchbook and see what I'm doing. It feels very, I don't like it. So I remember doing it in public and I remember drawing this in public and it was really fun. It's a very simple drawing. It's like a waterfall, but I remember just how refreshing it was. It felt almost like I wasn't drawing for any other reason besides the fact that I wanted to. And that feeling really solidified, and I remember trying to reach it more and more, where getting back to the roots, getting back to being a kid, getting back to doing the things that I love for no other reason besides the fact that I want to. And this one really, really reminds me of that. It was really, really great. I also remember this one. We had moved again, and we had this fence at the front of the house, and I wasn't drawing too frequently, but I wanted to, and so I just perched up at the window and tried to draw something that I was seeing just to get something out. It's very messy. It's not the sort of show off on social media that you would see, but that's not the point. Not everything is meant to be shown. You are way more than the things that you put out online, This, I was just trying some stuff with colored pencils because I can't get bored of them. I love it. I really love this sketch as well. I remember drawing this face and feeling like that's really like my style. That's the curves that I like to draw, even the nose and the cheek, the lips. It felt very much like there's this sort of language that I have that I'm proud of and that I want to keep doing and achieving. I like these as well. These are kind of cool. They're messy too, but for example, I like the little curls in the hair. I was trying out some things, but especially the puffy sleeve, because now I'm obsessed with puffy sleeves. Honestly, seriously, don't go back and see it. It's too much. I do so many puffy sleeves. And I think this was the start of it. I thought it looked so cute and the silhouette looked so nice. And this was the first hint that I was going to be making a lot of them in the future. This was a cool study as well, playing around with different colors, seeing what happens. It felt very ambitious. I like this part. And here you might start to recognize a few more drawings, because this is where I started to create a lot more video content, a lot of reels and shorts and TikToks. And so a lot of the drawings from here on out, I feel you might have seen before. And this is where I started getting into the groove and doing a lot more than I was used to. And you know, doing a lot helps. This is a crazy page. You didn't see this one, definitely. But this is the point of no return, where I started drawing so much that it completely unlocked me. You know, it switched something in me that said, you're doing so much already, like nothing has to be too perfect. If this one doesn't work out, the next one will probably be great. Like, it's fine. We are growing, we are trying, we are enjoying the process. I appreciated that people loved it as well and liked my work. That's so nice and warm, and I want to keep doing it. So that positive mentality started to set in, and that fueled me for the next year, you know, until now. And this is a study for a drawing that I made. That was my first, I guess, viral video. It wasn't necessarily viral, but it just got so many views, I got kind of scared. It was a little bit scary to see the reach, but it was really exciting and people really liked it. And I started playing around with songs and the music that I added to the videos. It really helped me to set up a mood that I was looking for and a feeling, because I'm obsessed with that part of the process. And now I feel like this one sort of set up that the importance of using the right music. I remember this one was that for me. And I really love it as well. I love the feeling, I love the stars. I think it's really cute. These are really cute as well. I like how I started messing more with colored pencils. I really like this one. I think this one was from reference, and this one wasn't, but I guess I started getting really into clothing back here as well. It's really cool to see how my obsessions, where they started. I started getting a lot of references on Pinterest that I loved the clothing so much that I just drew my own characters with variances or mixes of things that I liked, and that's still going on, and I love it. I love these ones. They're so colorful. These can get really messy, but I love that. It's fine, it's great, it's exploring. And it's warming up also, because at this point I was drawing a lot, but I still wasn't completely used to it. So I needed a little bit longer to really loosen up my wrists and be a lot more comfortable. This was the sketch for, this inking one, this ink drawing. I love the wings so much. They feel so sweet, and the pose. It's so relaxing and warm. And at this point, I didn't really have a lot of space to work in. I think it would be kind of interesting for me to show you just how much. I feel like social media kind of hides the reality of things. And I'm really proud of myself for making the most out of what I had. As you've probably noticed, I'm in a new space right now, thankfully. And it's been such a huge fight to get here. But I really didn't have a lot of space, the lighting. I was just recording with my phone. I got my first actual camera like 2 weeks ago, I think. And everything else that I've done before has been always with my phone and a weird little gadget to hold it. I didn't have the space. I didn't have a lot, but I made the most out of it. And I was so proud of the work. Like, it really gave me the tools that I needed first before I upgraded to better things. You know, you don't need that much to do a lot. This one, I think it didn't work out at first. Yeah, it was something that wasn't going well, so I redid it. I love this one as well, so cute. In here, I started getting a lot more comfortable. I remember drawing this just on the couch or something like that. Even these sketches. This was a sketch for another drawing that I don't have right here, but If I have it, I'll put it on screen. The rest is really cute too. I like how messy the sketches are. Even here, I think this was for a video my first YouTube video, so this one's important as well. You see like all the sketches and little marks in time of like important milestones. It's pretty cool to see. And this is the drawing that I made, but I made the mistake of painting it red. I thought it would look cool and I really don't like it. So I left it in its original state on my original video. But of course, like it's obvious, I never shared the one with the red paint. I still love it though, you know, but I wish I didn't do that. These are really cool. I love this portion right here. I feel like it's with these small doodles that you realize the colors that work well together. And I should try and do it more. Like this combination, I really love the combination of these colors together. They look really cute. And here was another video that really blew up. I don't know why. I think it was the mood or something, because this wasn't planned. It was just doodles from my imagination. And it turns out it worked out pretty well, I guess. And I really love it. But a lot of people resonated with it and shared it. It was pretty cool. Here are some studies. When my mind goes blank, I love just drawing things from Pinterest or images that I find interesting. Even the structures of everything, like these random eyes and things like that. Sometimes you just want to have the feeling of drawing, but you don't know what to draw. And I think that's a great place to just draw whatever, instead of just getting stuck or trying to go and do something else. Like open up some references or literally doodle the things that you like to draw. I think you'll have a lot of fun. This one's really cute. I love all the little details. It took me so long to make, but it was a lot of fun. Don't know why this one's empty. I think this was a study for another drawing that I made here in my tiny sketchbook. Let me see. Yeah, it's this one. I think this was a sketch for this one. It's really messy, but I wanted to play around with the textures and it was really fun. I love these sketches as well. I was getting a lot more comfortable and I really appreciate this phase where things felt so refreshing again. It's kind of crazy to see the start of the sketchbook and how it's ending. I love these. I love these. Sketching with pens like this, like straight up big pens, it's so stressful because you don't really have the room to make any changes. Even some of the lines of the structures, they remain, and I think that looks cool, but sometimes there are things that you just mess up and you can't go back. And so this I think just shows how comfortable I was to try new things and to take a risk. And that's something really healthy that I think started developing with that positive mentality of there's no failing here. It's okay. It's fine. Let's just do as much as we want. Even if it doesn't work out as you had planned, it's okay. It's always a learning experience. Nothing too bad is going to happen. Like, it's just experimenting. It's fine. And I appreciate that. These are really cute too. I love how subtle the lines can be. And sometimes it gets messy, but it's okay. This was my kitchen a few months ago in the beginning of the year. Yeah, I think it was in the beginning of the year. And this is, again, another way of showing just how I wanted to draw. I was really hungry for it and just drawing things around me. This is really cute. Some more sketches and studies. Planning for a piece. I don't think I ever did this one, but I started to plan it out. This one I did for another YouTube video. At the time I was trying a different setup in a place that was very uncomfortable, and I only ever filmed there once with this in this video. These are cute. I like the hair here. It's really crazy. I love it. Here are actually drawings from reference from stock images. You'd be surprised by, like, you don't need professional photos of specific poses to study. Sometimes I have a lot of fun just sketching stock images of like people dancing or cooking or something like that, and you'll get these very natural poses, natural perspectives of things that actually happen in real life. They aren't just poses of like a warrior or something like that. And I really appreciate it. And also I feel like we can get stuck on the same references over and over, especially if we always go to Pinterest or something like that. So it's really refreshing. This is really cute. I love this one as well. I love the detail. This is the stuff I like to do when I ink. It was from the imagination, so I was really proud of the poses and even the hair and the little stars. I really like this one. A few more sketches with graphite. I think these are smudging a little bit. I need to take care of that. And then here, a little bit more of those clothing obsessions. I was going through a ruffle phase and an 80s clothing phase because it feels so iconic and so elegant. And I think that my style tends to go there a little bit, you know? That elegance of shapes, those puffy sleeves and bead bows. So yeah, I really like these. Another few crazy sketches. When I don't draw the eyeballs, it looks a little bit crazy. I think I shared these two. This one I shared as well. I like their poses. Feels nice. I love here playing with the hair, how flowy it is. I feel like it's a big part of my drawing, so I love seeing it on my sketchbook where it's really flowy and messy. Also obsessed with some shoes. Shoes have always been something that's a little bit tricky for me to draw. And so there was this phase, and I think I'm still in it, where every once in a while I just want to draw something that I don't normally draw, just to see how I can really get those shapes that I find so interesting. And so I really like this. These are really cute too. I love these. I remember I started off as just a sketch. I just drew this one first, and then I drew this one, and I remember thinking, oh, there's so much space. Let's keep adding them around her. She was a human, and then I made them all mermaids, and then it made up this like story and this feeling. And I love when drawings start off that way, you know? You start off without a plan, but I always try to get some storytelling in there. It feels more special. I like it. I remember drawing this one as well. I really like it just because, you know, when drawing with colored pencils, the thing is you really can't erase that much either. So I remember mentioning it almost as inking with colored pencils, which doesn't make a lot of sense, but to me it feels like you can create really fluid and confident strokes because you can't erase them. So you need to be mindful of them. And I remember drawing this one with the intent to start from nothing. I had no idea what I was doing, and I just started right away drawing her face, her hair. I added very little structure to her, and it was so much fun. It was so much freeing, like not having a plan. I think it was also a video that I posted, which people liked as well. It's a cool challenge to make, but it's a little bit scary as well. These are just a few more sketches. I can feel that I was a lot more confident. Again, these were also in colored pencils. Not my favorite color, but I can just tell that I was getting back into it. These were some sketches for another YouTube video that I made where I was drawing gouache. I hope to do more drawings in gouache soon. I really like it. I'm not used to it yet too much, and it's a little bit scary, but that's why I think I should do it more. And this is the last page, which I also did a video on. And this one actually means a lot as well. I think it's a bit corny, but it comes down to a representation of me drawing freely and happily and feeling comfortable and feeling safe again. And I remember sharing that sentiment of it was almost bittersweet to finish the sketchbook. I didn't want it to be over. I feel like that's very different from my past experiences where I was always excited to finish a sketchbook, to get to start a new one, a fresh new one where I got to choose it, and it feels so much fun to start with a clean slate, but this one was different. I guess that even at this time, I had a very clear thought and vision of how this sketchbook had been with me for so long. I had realized that by that time that when I got married, I kept this sketchbook in our honeymoon. I took it with us when I was working incredibly bad jobs and beating myself up and having people not respect me or talk down to me. I always had it with me, and it was almost that constant that proved to me that it was possible to get out of it. It was a lot of growth that took a long time, and having it with me sort of solidified that feeling. And so it was really hard for me to start a new shiny one because I didn't want a new shiny one. I wanted to keep giving these pages the love that they deserve, you know? Maybe to some people that's not going to make too much sense, but to me it really does. This is a really special book. And at the end, the last page is always reserved for cleaning up the tip of the pens and messy things like that. If like my inking pen gets a burst of ink that comes out, I'll usually just go straight up to the last page and let it dry up here. So it's really messy and dirty, but I like that it's a constant in almost all of my sketchbooks. Yeah, the same thing is happening to my current sketchbook as well, where I tried some watercolor on top of my colored pencils. So it's the last page is always the messiest one. And so it's kind of cool to see that when I bought this book, I never had imagined what it could become, but it's amazing to have a solid reminder like this. I also have a few books in the back that you might have seen, which I also like to be able to see them. I hope to grow my library. I want to have a lot more anatomy books and things like that, but it was never something that I could invest in or feel like I could afford or spend money on. And I want to change that. I want to be able to live the artist life that I want to, because it is my job now, my full-time job. They also have a lot of history too. The Spider-Man art book, it's a given. Like, who doesn't have that book at this point? It's amazing. I love it. It was my first art book that I bought. But this one is really important too, which I wasn't planning on showing it to you, but I think it makes sense. I haven't read it in probably like 10 years, but this was the first like comic book sort of that inspired me to start drawing. Like, there were many things that inspired me to start when I was a kid. But my older brother also loved to draw before I even got started, and he had a lot of comics and cute things like that, and this was one of them. And this was the first time that I saw cool drawings that I wanted to draw, besides like the children's books that I had that were very simple and just very minimalist and not as exciting. And when I saw this one with like monsters and fantasy, and of course I'd see that in TV shows and things like that, but seeing it in a physical book and seeing that there is an artist that made it, it solidified things for me, I think. And seeing it now, it's very, very personal, but I like keeping it next to me because it's also a good reminder. So yeah, after all this time, I think that it's just important to remind ourselves that even if you are going through something similar, where there's something that you really love to do, that you want to keep doing, and you don't have the strength or the opportunity to do it right now, nothing is ever set in stone. Nothing is definitive. Things can always change, and you can change too, you know? I have changed so much, and it's cool to see how my own reflection is set inside of here in so many different ways. It gives me hope and it gives me strength to keep going. It's a good reminder to not give up. And hopefully today that can be a good reminder for you too. Whenever I get too much into my comfort zone and I feel really safe and like I don't want to change anything, now it's almost a reminder of what would happen if you changed, what would happen if you did the things that scare you a little bit, the things that you dream of, but you sort of set this ceiling for yourself that you're never going to go through it. Even YouTube for me right now, is that because it's very scary for me, it's new, it's ambitious for me because it involves a lot more than just drawing, but it's so refreshing and rewarding to share things, and I want to keep doing that. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. Leave your stories below. I read every comment and I love this community so much. I love seeing everything that you have to say, the ways that you feel the same ways, the ways that sometimes you might not, but that's okay as well. Tell me, what object is it that you have that reminds you of something? Is it good? Is it bad? And what is the thing that you really want that you think you can't do it right now? Trust me, I think you can. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.